Then then the next question is from ECW Paul 96333. What do you think? What do you think of WWE recently changing their demographic to the 6 to 10-year-old audience? They recently changed their TV rating from a TV 14 to a TV PG. I think it's a bad idea, especially these days. I think a TV 14 rating is perfect for a wrestling show. It allows them to do more edgy stuff and adds more realism. Besides having their wrestlers be superhero characters. Obviously, for us wrestling fans, we're not going to like this, and I don't think this is really going to change WWE's product that much. Obviously, you're probably going to see less of the sexually laced material. I don't know where this is going to lead with the Katie Lee and Paul Burchill angle, because that's an incest angle. I don't know if they're going to scrap that due to them changing the TV PG rating, or are they going to do less insinuating of it or something? But an angle like that and some other things, especially some of the stuff you saw during the Attitude Era, you're probably not going to see in WWE anymore. And obviously, for us fans, for some of that stuff, I don't really care, because just as long as WWE tries to make their wrestling product better, that's all I care about. But their product's going to probably stay the same, and it's not going to be any different. But obviously, for business-wise, it's smart for them, because obviously WWE will make a lot of money for changing it like this, and it really will help them, at least in my opinion. For business-wise, it's good. For us fans, it might not be good. From RBD Fan 100, in any ways, is WWE. You obviously see similarities with them trying to act like WWE at times, especially with some of the gimmicks. You got Jay Lethal doing the Macho Man gimmick, some of those
other cheesy gimmicks, and obviously Shark Boy with the whole Stone Cold gimmick. And the one thing I would say, even when I was a TNA fan, I was a TNA fan from probably day one until late 06. Late 06 is when I really started questioning their booking decisions, and definitely the one thing they've always had from day one is basically being an identity crisis. They've never really known which way they want to go. Do they want to be a more wrestling-based product, a more entertainment product, or they don't even know if they could, mesh it well together. So TNA just needs to try to be their own company, and as soon as they do that and start, doing some good things, which they're starting to make the X Division back like it used to be slowly. The women's division is good, but the one thing they're lacking is tag team wrestling, which really was good during their early years. So hopefully they'll get that back with their tag teams. And next question is from Xera077. Who has a better chance of returning to the NBA Finals, the Boston Celtics or the Los Angeles Lakers? Obviously, with the Boston Celtics being in the Eastern Conference, they have a better chance, because the Eastern Conference is pretty much lackluster. I mean, you got the Pistons, you got the Cavaliers, which could be good. I still think LeBron needs that one other great player with him to even make it and win the NBA Finals, even though they did get to the Finals before. But definitely to win it, I think he still needs that one other talent with him. Then Dwayne Wade with the Miami Heat, barring any injuries, they could be good. And the Wizards are pretty good. So I think they have a better chance of return to the Finals. But the one thing is, how many more years could Ray Allen go? Because he's definitely up there as far as age goes, and don't know how many more years he's going to last as a player. KG, he's got a pretty few good amount of years left in him, and Paul Pierce does too. So they could possibly return and win the NBA Finals, because I still think, until Kobe Bryant wins the Finals, and I'm actually a fan of Kobe Bryant, but really until he wins the NBA Final and the NBA title, pretty much is going to be in the back of everyone's mind. Can he win without Shaq? So until he does that, pretty much that behind him is going to be stuck behind him for a long time until he finally wins the NBA Finals. And the Western Conference is so stacked. You got the Spurs, you got the Mavericks, and you got the Suns. The Nuggets were pretty good. So, I mean, you got in the New Orleans Hornets too. So the Western Conference is obviously more stacked than the Eastern Conference. So Lakers have a harder chance to get back there. And does ROH ever come to the West Coast, either San Francisco or LA? Well, they did have one show in San Francisco at the Cow Palace last year when the whole wrestling convention was going on, basically the debacle of the of the convention that really hurt Ring of Honor and really made this was one of the things that made Ring of Honor have a little had to make a little cutbacks over this year is because basically with when they did the West Coast shows, both of them, the wrestling convention was a complete failure, and Ring of Honor being there, that was from people that went there, that I heard that was the only good thing of the weekend, but it wasn't as many fans as what is expected to be at the convention, so that already hurt Ring of Honor from the beginning. So possibly you could see them return in the future to somewhere in California, but I'm not sure yet. But definitely if you live in California, definitely check out Pro Wrestling Guerrilla. They do some shows in Burbank, California, and a few other areas in California. So definitely if you live in the West Coast, that is the closest at this time that you'll get to Ring of Honor, and they're almost equally as good as Ring of Honor at some points. Then the next couple questions are from Nick 1700. Who do you think is going to be the first two-time ROH World Champion? I'm leaning towards Austin Aries. I think with this angle they're doing with Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, that Bryan Danielson will most likely be the first two-time Ring of Honor champion, but it could go either way because both of them are very talented, and I wouldn't mind either way. With ROH giving Ghost Shiozaki a pretty decent push, do you see him winning the ROH World Title? Don't see him doing that because pretty much out of all the Noah talent, if you look at his record as far as wins and losses, he's pretty much the Noah jobber at least for the most part. So, but he's definitely a great talent. But I don't think he is going to be one of those talents that's going to win the ROH World Title at any time soon. But definitely would like to see him and Bryan Danielson have a match in Japan coming up on their Japan tour. Definitely had a great one at Live in Tokyo last year. Next question is, I think when Nigel McGuinness loses the ROH title, he should claim to have deunified the Pure title and not lost it and thus bringing it back. Would you like to see the Pure title back under those circumstances? Definitely, I wouldn't mind the Pure title back because I definitely thought the Pure title was very innovative with the 3 rope break rules and definitely focusing more on the submissions and the pure in-ring stuff instead of a lot of high spots and stuff. Definitely did some great, and Nigel had a great run for that 1 year that he was Pure champion. Definitely, I wouldn't mind him coming back. As far as under these circumstances, not sure because it definitely seems like it could be good, but it has a little Russo-esque behind it. It seems like this would be something Russo would do to bring a title back, but it could possibly work.